All right, so this is going to be the second part of the video, same idea as in video one. But I'm just going to keep rolling and record a few more examples. So let's see what we get. Um, 30, no. Let's see. Okay. Um, let's see. X-intercept. This was earlier, but this is still good. So X-intercepts means that I'm looking for places where my Y value or the output is 0. So essentially, we are solving this equation. And this equation is in vertex form. Just kidding. Sorry, it's in standard form. In the standard form, we're going to use the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. My a value is 1, my b value is 4, and my c value is 5. So let's see what this looks like. Negative 4 over 2 plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my discriminant, and I notice that it is 16 minus 20. Well, 16 minus 20 is a negative number. So what that tells me is that this equation has no real solutions. So when I do look at the graph, I'm going to see no x-intercepts, right? So my parabola is going to be floating up above, and I know this because it has to face up, and it has to not have any x-intercepts. So it's going to look something like this, right? So when somebody asks me to list x-intercepts and I know there are going to be none, I'm just going to write none. All right, so that's this one. Let's clear it up and let's roll again. All right, also x-intercepts, but now we actually have vertex form. So we still want the answer to be equal to 0, but now we have to solve this equation, which is an equation that, if you notice, has x in one spot, which means that we could just use inverse operations. We're going to get rid of things around the x, and we're going to get x alone. So first, I'm going to get rid of this plus 3, and I get 2 x plus quantity x plus 1 squared equals 3. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'm just going to leave my answer as a decimal. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of the left side and the right side. I'm going to totally remember that I need a plus and a minus. And then I am going to go ahead and finally take away 1 from both sides, and my final answer for the x value is going to be negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1.5. Again, we're interested in x-intercepts. So I don't just want to list the x values, I actually want to list the whole point. So we're going to say it is negative 1 plus square root of 1.5. So this is the 0 I'm getting by going to the right of my axis of symmetry, and my axis of symmetry is at negative 1. Or I could choose to go left, which is negative 1 minus 1.5, 0. So those are my two x-intercepts. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, x-intercepts, but this is our last form. So this is great practice. After this, if I roll x-intercepts again, I'm just gonna re-roll it. But this is great. So I do want answer to be 0. And here I have factored form. So this is actually the easiest thing to find in factored form, the zeros or the x-intercepts. All right, so I have this already factored. So all I need to do is find x values that make each factor equal to 0. So when I look at my first factor, which is x plus 1, the x value that makes it equal to 0 is negative 1. And when I look at my second factor, which is x plus 5, the x value that makes that one equal to 0 is negative 5. So those are my two zeros. Again, I do have to list them as, or I'm asked for x-intercept. So we're going to say negative 1, 0, and negative 5, 0. And that's it. All right. Uh, y-intercept. All right, this was new for us. So y-intercept is going to be the point where the graph, our function crosses the y-axis. So when we cross the y-axis in general, the x value is always going to be 0. We might not know the y value right away, but we know the x value is going to be 0. So what all I'm looking for is the output when 0 is the input, right? So I'm just going to replace x with 0. So negative 0 plus 1, 0 plus 5. If I had, you're more than welcome to use a calculator, but I don't really need one at in this problem. So it's negative 1 times 5, so it's just negative 5. So my y-intercept is going to be uh, 0, comma, negative 5. So anytime you're looking for y-intercept, it doesn't matter what form you're using, doesn't even matter what function it is, you're always going to replace x with 0. All right, we have to find the range, which means that we want a set of all of the y values that are possible to get or possible outputs when we graph our parabola. A parabola is given to us in vertex form. We see parenthesis. So we're going to ask ourselves what makes that parenthesis, what x value makes that equal to 0? And the x value is negative 1. When I replace x with negative 1 to get the y value of my vertex, I'm going to notice that the first part is just going to be 0 because that was the whole point of choosing negative 1, right? So my y value of the vertex is simply negative 3. So my vertex is negative 1, comma, negative 3. And my parabola is going to be facing up, and I know this because I have a positive 2 in the front. So I do, for the range, need to have a quick sketch. So my parabola has a vertex of negative 1, negative 3. So it's over here somewhere. It is going to face up. And in class, we used a highlighter that helped us. So we kind of highlighted all the possible outputs. So if you look at the y values that are possible, it would be negative 3 or anything above that. So the way we would write that for the range would be y is greater than or equal to negative 3. So that would be my range for this vertex form. All right, and this I think is going to be the last one in this video. So interval where the f of x is increasing. Again, we've done this in the first video. I do need to know two things. I need to know where my axis of symmetry is, because that is where the increasing to decreasing or decreasing to increasing change is going to happen. I also do need to know the direction my parabola is opening to help me. So my parabola here is given to me in standard form, which means that I am going to use the quadratic formula to help me get started. If you're kind of not sure what to do in standard form, quadratic formula is always a good option just to write down. All right, so again, we're not interested in the whole equation. We're just interested in the center of the parabola. So we're just going to look at the beginning. So my a value is 1 and my b value is 4. Again, I don't need c value for this particular question. So negative 4 over 2 is going to be negative 2. So that is my axis of symmetry. And my parabola is going to be facing upwards. And I know this because I have a positive 1 in front of my x squared. So let's say that we're going to be something like, it's going to look something like this. And my parabola is going to be increasing over here to the right of my axis of symmetry. So the way that I would describe it in my answer is I would say any x value to the right of 1, or for any value where x is greater than 1. There you go. All right, so that's going to be the end of the second video.